Hey, this is Dr. T, and this is a new series that I'm starting. One where a little bit more casual. This is just sitting in my living room, and I'll be playing a video game, talking about stuff I know about, the early stuff I think I know about. You know how life goes. And yeah, should be interesting. At least I'm hoping it will be. For those of you who are my students, this is not part of the normal class support videos. Most of my videos, as you're probably aware, are meant to be support for my courses, support for other people learning, etc. This is not really meant to be this. It's meant to be interesting. Probably not going to succeed on that, but that's the goal. As you'll notice, we're not in my office. We're not on campus. This is my living room. This is my computer. So these are opinions expressed by me and not by my school. So today's game is Project Highrise. It's a great tower simulation building game. The goal here is that you're building a commercial infrastructure. You've got to support your tenants. They pay you money. And hopefully you make a profit and don't go broke. Let's see if I can actually manage to do that this time. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this. I need some building to actually work on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, add some floors, put in some elevators. Probably don't really need that elevator there, to be honest. It's probably wasting me money. And I'm going to go a little bit on the wide side just to start with, because building out is usually cheaper than up. And I know good and well I'm going to need some space down here shortly. Down below is kind of your utilities in this one, although there's a lot of interesting stuff that goes there. Building information, don't have much useful. And in order to keep going, I can put some shops on the bottom. That's about it right now. But let's get some power in here. Of course, I want to go vertical on my power. Okay, and yeah, this should be good for now. I want to get some tenants in here. I'm always torn on this game. Do I start by putting in the restaurants in first? Which is probably a good idea, but who knows? So yeah, because of course you got more facilities, more infrastructure on this one. Okay, so they're working. Let me get some offices. Okay, I'll take a little bit of time to do. Yeah, need to actually show that one. Insurance offices. Okay, you want some copy services. Okay, that'll go on the bottom floor. These guys are nice because they don't need much. Okay, that one's copy services as well. The joy of needy tenants. Courier, office supply, bottled, janitorial. Copy services. Okay, I'm going to have to wait for them to build a hole for me. Hey, look, it'll go there. Wish there was a way to prioritize things here. But I don't think there is. Well, while they're working, let's move on to the next one. Oh, money. Yeah, that was expensive. Okay. While they're working, let's move on to kind of the next thought, or the next part of this one. And that's the goal of the video series, also to be interesting on topics that I'm familiar with. So one of the areas as chemists, of course, the classic quintessential thing of a scientist is a lab coat. And so, yeah, let's talk a little bit about lab coats. Oh, good, they're getting down here. So lab coats are kind of this interesting mixed thing. There's got a little bit more going on with lab coats. No reason to slow them down just yet. And with lab coats, you're working on them in part to provide protection from the chemicals you're working with, although they don't provide a ton of protection. They provide some. It's definitely important. I assume this guy's going to need some power. Oh, maybe he doesn't. But they're going to really provide more of like a cleanliness approach. Yay, I can get some offices in here. And that cleanliness is going to allow you to, keep your work at work, and that's an important feature. Let's see. Speaking of work, let's get some. Okay, that needs courier. That needs courier. Yeah. Let's go insurance. That's going to allow you to, not be constantly exposed to the chemicals. So the idea of the lab coat is you walk in, you take your lab coat off the hook, you put it on, you do the work in the lab, then you leave the lab, you put the thing back on the hook, and you go home. And the chemicals stay with that. Now, with that said, of course, there's a couple other uses. They add some extra pockets. Lab coats have usually 2 big pockets, usually a third pocket over here. They usually got a side slit so you can get to your pockets. Not always, by the way. And that alone is sometimes really useful. There's been more than one occasion I've worn a lab coat for the sole reason that I needed more pockets. Because, you never have enough pockets. And yay, once you get enough pockets, that's awesome. You've got pockets. The next reason then usually is to actually protect you if something hits you. And for that, depends on which lab coat you wear, depends on how much actual personal protection you actually get from it. The everyday, kind of the normal lab coat you see, the one if you go to a university bookstore, you're going to see in the bookstore, is usually a polyester blend. These do not provide much protection. They're going to provide a little bit of protection if you get hit, a few milliliters of material, probably even less than milliliters. We're talking dozens of microliters. Enough that it'll stain your clothes, but not so much that it's going to really soak through. So your clothes would have protected you. Your lab coat is instead protecting your clothes. Yeah, this is not really a giant PPE thing. It helps a little bit, but not a lot. The next general area you're going to be looking at is going to be something like a nice cotton one. Cotton ones don't burn as well. They're not fire resistant, but they don't burn particularly well. So they give you some fire resistance. So if you're working with any kind of fire, the cotton will provide a little bit of extra protection. Additionally, the cotton will, if you have pure layers of cotton, it doesn't melt. Synthetic fibers will melt onto you. Okay. Let's see. Looking at the game, I've got some guys coming in. Can I get some more? No, I'm done with insurance offices, so I need more support services down on the bottom. So that means I need some more floor down here. And let's see, what else? I probably need to get some food in there, and that means I need some water. So I need to get some water to my building. That's as lousy a spot as anything. And then I need some pipes going up. I'm just going to put the water, or the things that need water over there to start with. I'm actually going to need some phone services here pretty quick too. I feel like I've got my basement completely messed up, but we'll see. Okay, so let's put in some food. Who do we got? Ooh, a donut shop. They need water. They like high traffic. Okay, that's good. Food court. Soups. Apparently they don't need water. That's weird. Okay, so I've got some phone lines. Let's actually get some phone lines up there. I don't have phone lines yet. Oh, I can put the line in, but I don't have the phone service. Pro tip, just go in both directions so you don't get confused. Okay, so while these folks are working, eventually I'll get some phone materials, etc. So these are going to need courier services and a phone line. Yeah, I have to wait for the legal offices. Okay, so when it comes to lab coats, you got a couple of different choices. You can do the nice polyester blend. That's going to usually run you 30, 40 bucks. Fairly inexpensive, but it doesn't provide you much protection. Then again, most of the time you don't really need that much protection. A lot of lab people don't even bother with the lab coat. If you're working with really benign stuff, especially in a chemistry lab, you're going to work with fairly benign, or I should say a teaching chemistry lab, you're going to work with fairly benign materials. Quite often you won't really care about it that much. Whereas, once again, if you're working with slightly more dangerous stuff, which of course in industry you're going to need a little bit more protection. Next tier up would be cotton. That's going to run you usually, you know, 70, 80 bucks. Depends on where you buy it from. Designer ones, of course, cost more. And then, you know, this guy's the roof. Now, if you want a little bit more than cotton, you can go a little bit higher. You can do cotton with fire protection. This isn't going to add any particular spill protection. The cotton still doesn't give you that much spill protection on it. For that, usually you would wear like an acid apron, so if something goes over you, and it provides nice spill protection right on the area where it's going to get hit. But the fire protection does add noticeably more fire protection. These are usually required if you've got large amounts of flammable materials, which is, you know, fairly common. Now, you can go up from there. You can go for Nomex, you know, same stuff the firefighters wear. This gives you a lot of fire protection, modest spill protection, you know, no more than the cotton does. But if you're working with things that are really flammable, that's probably what you're going to want to end up doing. By the way, I might as well move this thing a little bit quicker. Oh, yay, they're moving down there. The other choice you can go is for more of a Tilex. Doesn't provide you much fire protection, but it does provide you with plenty of spill protection. Yay, I now have phones. Okay, so with the phones, I can put some accounting offices. Wow. Courier services. Okay, I need courier services. Yeah, so there goes your Tilex. The Tilex, the Nomex usually is going to run you into a few hundreds of dollars. The Tilex tend to be disposable, so it's a reoccurring cost. They're not that expensive, but you know, you're buying them on a regular basis, which of course, you know, adds up really quickly. Let's see if I can hit the right button. Courier services. There we go. Okay, that should make those folks happy. Ooh, wow, that lawyer's really looking to pay some good rent. So yeah. So at this point, let's see, that's kind of my rundown on lab coats. Takeaway, if you need one, you need one. You need to do a risk evaluation though. Why are you wearing a lab coat? If it's just to keep yourself clean, you know, your polyester is good. If you got a little bit of fire issues, you're working with some open flames, you probably want to kick that over to cotton. And truth be told, Bunsen burner, that's an open flame, you probably want cotton. And if you're wearing cotton lab coat for fire protection, you need to be wearing cotton or natural fibers for everything else. The problem with the synthetics is they tend to melt. And, you know, getting a burn is bad. Catching on fire is bad. Catching on fire and having your clothes melt to your skin is really, really bad. So that's not something you're going to want. So you want to give yourself some nice protection on that. So, yeah. Oh boy, this is called I ran out of power. I have been too aggressive. Oh boy, this is awkward. So I got my power main. I should have been paying attention to it. I have maxed out. So now I need a bigger power facilities, and she needs to get done. I think that's a lady, I can't tell. Needs to get done building that one wall, then we can put in the fire. There we go. Okay, now we got the power. Okay. Okay. Well, that's that. I'm going to go ahead, add a few more floors to my building, and I will talk to you later.